Good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. Sorry about that. Woohoo! There we are. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Donna. This is my Wonderland, and you are all welcome here. This week it is Mental Health Awareness Week, and so today's video is going to be based on that. So let's go. So guys, back to the office. I thought I would bring you in here while I just set myself up for the morning. So I don't know if I've got a little bit of water in there for my diffuser. So one of the ways that I manage my mental health is routines. I do much better when I'm working in a routine. So I try and do that, but I'm not the best at it, I have to say. So my wake up routine is that I will start my day with Daily J from the Calm app. So I listen to Jay Shetty and his thoughts for the morning. I will then try and do a little bit of reading. That often doesn't happen. I get distracted by social media, which isn't the best for me, I know, but honestly, guys. Hi! She's now stopped staring at me because do you see what I have to deal with? What? Oh, for goodness sake. She's just finished her biscuit, so she decided to let the whole house know that she's finished her biscuits, but whatever. Okay, so yeah, I could do better at that. My work morning routine is to come in here and switch on my diffuser and my little warmer there. That is what I do to start my day, get my cup of tea, get my breakfast. I'm actually not hungry this morning, but I am at my desk a bit earlier than I normally am. So it's 9. I try and make sure I'm at my desk for 10. And it's 9:25, so you're not making this easy. You coming out? Can you please just be quiet? Also gonna swap my glasses because those are my blue light filtering glasses, and we need to be awake during the day. So thought I would just tidy up my desk a little bit and then we will have a bit of a chat. So guys, I thought I would talk a little bit about my mental health journey and take you along for the next couple of days. I have got something really exciting happening tomorrow, and I'm not going to be able to share too much of it. I'll try and get a little bit of video of it. But I'm going to be working with Catherine Chapman. She ran a competition to close out her founding membership of her Vitality Rooms, which I've told you guys about before. I'll link all the details in the description below. But she ran a competition to win a VIP day with her, and we're doing that tomorrow, which I'm really excited about because I think I very much need it. And to give you a little bit of history about my mental health, it's been a journey. So I had something very traumatic happen to me when I was 11 years old, which kind of ended my childhood. Well, I was 10. It ended my childhood. And I've always been an old soul, you know. I've always been the person all my friends came to with their problems. I was always very logical and able to kind of see both sides of the story. And I've always been that old soul. And so that in itself you kind of lose a little bit of your childhood. Then this traumatic event happened when I was 10. My parents broke up when I was 12, and I was part of making that happen, I suppose, or that's how it felt. I mean, I'm sure my mum would have done it either way, maybe, I don't know, but she actually asked me my opinion on it, and I told her to do it. Not because I didn't love my dad, because I do love my dad, but I didn't love how they were together to each other. And that then made me grow up even more, because I had to be a rock for my mum in that situation. There was always this elevated adulthood in my childhood, and then when I was 16 I had my heart broken. And you know, when you're 16, it's like the worst feeling, because your whole world is your friends. And remember, my parents had split up by this point, and I was actually living with my dad. My dad is not the most emotional, huggy of people. You know, I didn't have my mum. I was living with my dad. He wasn't an emotional support for me. And I lost my best friend and my boyfriend to each other. And so that was it. My whole world collapsed. We'd just gone into sixth form. We were 3 months into sixth form. So all of my friends were no longer around me. I only had my best friend. And then there were new friends that were being made, but it wasn't, you know, I hadn't got these strong connections with these people yet. And I felt so isolated and so alone. And I went into the biggest pit of depression, and I went to the doctor. I got diagnosed. I got given antidepressants for the first time. And then I had somebody come into my life from my past who decided that they knew better for me, and they completely manipulated that situation. And it started the worst 2 years of my entire life. And I always say that my daughter's dad saved me, and my daughter kept me here, because I was so low when I met her dad, and he just brought a light to my life, and I will forever be grateful for him, because I had some seriously dark thoughts of, you know where I'm going with that. I just didn't want to be here anymore and be under that manipulation, and I didn't know how to get out of the situation. It just got worse and worse, and he was literally my knight in shining armor. He was so sweet. He was 19. He, you know, literally did the sweeping me off my feet, making me happy, and I needed him to get me out of that situation, and he did that for me. But we weren't right together in the long term. I was an old soul, remember. I'd already lived 3 lives by this point. I was like a cat. You know, I'd had that happen when I was 10. My parents broke up when I was 12. I had this disaster when I was 16. I'd moved out of home around my 16th birthday. I was living out on my own by the point he met me, having lived with a friend and then moved out with a different friend and been in this really toxic situation. So I had lived a life by the time he came into my life, and he was still living at home with his parents. So he hadn't lived that life. So we were in 2 different stages, and I wanted rescuing so badly that I asked him to move in. We really rushed into our relationship, and by the time I kind of realised it wasn't the relationship that was necessarily going to be right for me long term, I found out I was pregnant with my beautiful daughter. And yeah, she has rescued me on more than one occasion. She has been the light in my life that has pulled me through some very dark times, because I have had more since all of that went down, and life hasn't been easy, and I have been on and off antidepressants since I was 16. Then I started to get anxiety in my early 30s and started getting these sort of the heart racing, feeling sick, nausea in certain situations. Don't like crowded places, don't like going into supermarkets. I'm very introverted and it exhausts me to be out in the world, quite frankly. But over the last 4 years, since COVID, gosh, I'm making it longer than it was. I'm drinking herbal tea today, guys. Well, not herbal tea, fruit tea. I'm trying to reduce my milk consumption. Since COVID, working from home has been an absolute blessing and a joy for me. I am so much happier. I managed to wean myself off my antidepressants at the beginning of lockdown, because a lot of my anxiety came from my workplace, and I was just so much happier being at home with my family, and I managed to wean myself off, and I've been pretty okay since then. I've not got as low as to feel that I needed to go to the doctor and see him. I have looked at alternatives for helping me cope with my low days, and they have helped. I'm going through a pretty low patch at the moment, which I am struggling with, which is why I'm so excited to work with Catherine tomorrow. But I've introduced exercise, I've improved my eating habits, I have started to do these morning meditations, breathing exercises. I'm not saying I've got this fantastic routine down with it, I haven't, but I do take time in the day to just sit and breathe. Not every day. I don't exercise every day. I want to get out and I want to walk more, so I'm going to go on a walk soon. I've done so much reading on my health because I know that my physical health affects my mental health, and that's something I've really focused hard on over the last couple of years, and I know that it's helped, but it is a struggle when your mind goes to those dark places and you get in that hole to actually have the motivation to get up and do. So my exercise has kind of been a little bit on the wonk for the first part of the year. There's been lots of sessions that I've missed, and I'm very much somebody who has to do the live classes. I'm not going to do the recorded classes. I've absolutely no desire to switch on a recorded class, but if I know that Catherine's actually on the other side of the camera working with me, I will turn up. But even that has been a struggle, and I've not that I've necessarily made excuses, but in the first couple of years, like the first year that I was with her, I was like, this is my priority and I don't miss a session for anything. And at the beginning of this year, I've done a lot of trainings and stuff, and a lot of them have landed on my Wednesday evening when Paloxin happens. And I've just gone, oh, well, I need to do this live training, even though I could have caught the recording. So it's one of those things that I'm let it be an excuse not to do it. And I've seen the dip in my mental health from it. I've seen my weight creep back up, which doesn't help with my mental health because it's something that I've struggled with my whole life, feeling comfortable in my body. And it's not been easy. And for me, my next step is to try and solidify these routines, because I know I work better when I work in a routine, when my days are in a routine. So I don't know if you can hear the washing machine. I'll put the washing on in the hope that my sports bra will be dry for tonight for Paloxing. So, oh, and there's Kitty. Cats help, guys. Cats really help, apart from, you know, the one that was meowing. She's gone. I don't know where she's gone. Hi, Kitty. Want to come say hello? Not really, she says. Not really. Not really, Mum. Hi. My beautiful black cat. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, I want to get a better evening routine in place. I want to get a more solidified morning routine in place. Ooh, one moves. And I know that my income is key to helping me get out of this funk. I am currently reading The 4 Money Mindsets because I'm very well aware that my money mindset isn't great. And so I'm reading that and I'm doing all the things, and you know, it's still hard, and I'm not going to sit here and say, just do this. It's a magic pill that's going to make you feel so much better. She's totally going to knock this camera off in a minute. There isn't a magic pill. It's a combination of things that you have to do and that you have to keep doing. And if you struggle with your mental health, I want to say I understand. You may have a better experience with it than me. You may have a worse experience with me, but I understand the struggle, and I understand people around you not understanding. And I haven't found anybody in talk therapy that has really helped me in the way I would have expected. I do believe that a combination of medication and therapy is sometimes the best thing. I know somebody in my life that is doing both, and I have seen a huge change in their demeanour and their reactiveness and just how they're handling life. And it's been an absolute joy to see them kind of come back to a more joyful place. And you have to find out what works for you, but I don't think medication alone is the answer. And it really bothers me when doctors just prescribe pills and then leave you on your way. I think pills mask problems. They don't solve problems. The problems are still going to be there. So I think it's really important to get to the crux of these issues, and that's kind of what I'm doing in my self-exploration is, you know, what is it that I'm worried about? What is it that I'm sad about? What is it that is causing me anxiety? How can I deal with that? What do I need to make that better? And I'm not perfect, and I have days where I don't want to get out of bed. And I have days where I sit at this computer and I don't get an ounce of work done because I'm so easy to be distracted because I feel so sad. And it's not easy. And I just know it's something that I'm going to have to cope with. And I'd rather find good ways to cope with it than to live without trying. So just want to send big hugs to everybody who needs it. Even if you don't suffer with mental health issues, we all have times where sadness, grief, stress hits us and hits us hard, and it can be very difficult to cope with. So I just want to anybody who needs a hug, sending you a virtual hug. I'm going to get on with my Wednesday. I have got I've got a workshop to do at some point now. So I'm going to get on with that. I will bring you along. I don't know whether I'm going to leave all of that talking or maybe I'll re-record it. I don't know, because I've been talking for a long time and I don't like my vlogs to be really long. So I'm going to get on with my day, and I will bring you along for a bit. Hey guys, it is quite a bit later. I am red from Ploxing. It is about 6:30. I'm going to get my dinner. Tomorrow I am going to be on a 10-hour call. We are going to break for lunch. I'm very excited. I have absolutely no idea what we're doing. I've been told to bring snacks, have something nice ready for my lunch, to wear comfy clothes and to be in a comfortable place. So we will see what happens there. I'm not sure I'm going to get anything video footage wise of it, but I will attempt, and then I will come back afterwards and let you know how it's gone. So I have done a Scentsy video that I'm hoping to get up tomorrow, which will be Thursday, but because I am going to be in that call all day. I don't know whether I'm going to get it edited because I've got to spend the evening with, well, I haven't got to, I'm choosing to spend the evening with Terry because it's Wednesday and we spend Wednesdays together, and I wasn't here last week. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get time to edit it tonight. Definitely not going to have time to edit it tomorrow daytime. So I might put it up and then have it go up on Friday. But yeah, I touched on mental health a little bit in there as well. So if you haven't seen that one, you can go back and watch it. I just give you an update on the stuff that's going on in Sensi that I've missed because I haven't been uploading Sensi stuff. So I'm going to make my dinner, spend some time with Terry, and I will catch you tomorrow. Hey guys, good morning. So I am late to log on for Catherine by about a minute. So I'm going to log in and we're going to see what the day brings. I haven't got anything ready. I'm a mess. But there we go. Let's do this. Oh my God, I got a reprieve. Catherine has just said that one of her children is still at home. So can I give her 10 minutes, which is fantastic because it means I get to make a cup of tea. I was really like, oh my God, I'm not even going to get a second cup of tea this morning. I am a little bit nervous because it seems like she's like, we'll break for lunch, which is great because, you know, got to eat. But she was like, we'll break for lunch, but make sure you've got some snacks with you. And I'm like, what about the toilet? I go for a wee like 50 times a day. So I'm not sure. Kettle's boiling. I'm going to get my paperwork done. I'm going to try and make my hair look like it's not just bed hair. And we will get going with this. I'm really excited. Well guys, I thought I would check in with you. We are, I would say, halfway through the day, but it's actually much further. We broke for lunch at 3:10. How am I feeling right now? A lot of digging, a lot of soul searching, a lot of past traumas and really understanding where my thoughts, feelings and beliefs, values come from and how they are or are not serving me. Really interesting. And you might have seen it, the clip with me holding up my pendulum. Fascinating process. And yeah, that was a yes-no answers, my subconscious answering yes-no answers on the areas that we needed to look at. So we're looking at money, lifestyle and reflection, and my thoughts, feelings, beliefs around the lifestyle that I want, the lifestyle that I have, the money I have and don't have, the reflection I see versus the one that I want to see. And it's all very interesting. So really excited to go back for part 2 and just see where we go, because I think the great thing is, like, I'm an open book. I will talk to anybody about anything, tell them literally anything they want to know. One of the questions that Catherine asked me was, is there anything that you don't want anyone else to know? And I couldn't think of a thing that I would be like, no, I don't want to tell you that. Like, I'm pretty much, I will tell you anything you want to know. I've never hidden anything of myself, I don't think. There are choices that I've made that I regret. There are choices that I've made in situations where I wasn't really fully capable of making decisions. And would they be decisions I would make now in the frame of mind that I am in? Absolutely not. Do I have regrets? Yes. But we all have something, and I'm not going to sit here and hide any of that. I don't hide it. I'm quite happy to talk about my past and what I've been through, especially if it can help somebody else to understand themselves a little more, or to have empathy for somebody else in their life that maybe has gone through something similar to what I have. I'm very much an open book. So I'm interested to see what we do now we've dug all this stuff up. I don't want to be leaving a pile of manure on my garden. I would like to have some flowers. So we will see what the next session brings, and I will check in with you later. Wow. Wow, that is a lot to process. So basically, what we have done is, from looking at where my thoughts, feelings, values come from in my past, and then we looked at negative emotions that I had. So when we came back from lunch, we looked at negative emotions that I'm holding on to, and we tried to trace back where they started. And then I had to look at what was the lesson that I was learning in that moment. And does that kind of then ease the negative emotion, knowing that there is something that I have learnt from it and can carry forward with me? And then there was some subconscious woo-woo stuff. So if you're not into the woo-woo, that's fair enough, each to their own. But letting the subconscious go through my life from the point where that first kind of root fear element or root guilt element came in, and just putting those lessons that come from that root to all of these points in my life where that emotion was felt, and letting it go. And I'm going to do some journaling and write down what those lessons were that were coming to me. But yeah, very interesting how my feelings around giving and receiving things, and how I hold on to this kind of, how I will give freely to others without expecting directly from them in return, because I kind of go with the karma thing that if I put out good stuff, it's going to come back to me. It doesn't have to come back directly from that person, but it'll come back in another way. So I give freely to others, but I won't ask for help myself. I won't lean on people. I find it very difficult to ask for help and to ask for what I need. And then if people do things for me unexpectedly, without there being an ask, they just do something nice for me, how I then burden a guilt and a feeling that I need to repay them. Yet I don't feel people need to repay me when I do stuff. So why do I feel that I need to repay people? So a lot has come up today. A lot. And yeah, we dug over some very old traumas. So lots to journal about. So I am going to go and make another cup of tea and pour myself another beaker, cup, bottle of water. What would you call this? Because it's not a bottle. I don't feel like I'm 5 years old. It's not a beaker, because it's not a bottle, because you don't drink out of it, you drink out the straw. Cup doesn't seem quite right either, because it hasn't got a handle. So yeah, I'm going to fill that with water anyway. Going to make a cup of tea. I've just texted Matthew to ask where he is, because it is now 20 to 7 and he hasn't sent me a text to say he's on his way. So I don't know where he is. Terry's been in and gone out. And yeah, I'm not hungry because I stuffed myself at lunch. I had my breakfast and my lunch together. And yeah, so that's going to be that. I will come back to you tomorrow when I've slept on this, do some final thoughts. We are meeting again on Saturday just to finalise and go through some stuff. Catherine wanted to kind of digest all of the stuff that I threw at her today before she kind of brings it all to a wrapped up in a neat bow for next steps, action steps. What do I do going forward? So it's going to be interesting. So I will definitely finish up with you guys tomorrow. Good morning, guys. So it is Friday. It is not morning now, it's afternoon. I am still in my PJs because I decided that Friday was going to be PJ day this week. I have been reflecting a little bit on yesterday's session with Catherine, and I kind of made a realisation. So I mentioned to you guys in vlog, I think it was last week's vlog that I did with my Whitstable trip. I actually went down to Whitstable to talk at Catherine's networking meeting for business. So my battery died and I had to put it on charge for a bit. So it's now much later. But to go back to what I was saying, I went down to do a talk about vision and how sometimes we can create a vision for our lives and we can ignore all the signs that it's the wrong path and just keep on that same path. And if you don't have a why behind your vision, you get stuck in that vision and then you end up making poor decisions or irrelevant decisions and staying in a stuck place rather than moving forward. And I had stuck with my vision for 24 years. I know. And it was because 7-year-old me wanted to do it. And 7-year-old me had kept that at the forefront whilst I was growing, and every year it got more and more power behind it and more that's what I was going to do, to the point where I couldn't navigate away from it. Now, I didn't have a why at that point. There wasn't a particular reason why I wanted to be a teacher. It was just the vision I had for my life. And I wasn't looking at the bigger picture behind that and the why that goes with that. And so I got stuck in this vision. But the why is much more important. Why do you want to do what you do? Because you might be able to do it in a different way. So for example, I said if I wanted to be a teacher, it might have been because I want to help shape the children for the future. I want to help shape the individuals that are going to make this world a better place. That might have been my why. And teaching may not have worked out, but I could have done that why with something else. I could have created a drama school for children that was outside of the usual school system. I could have become a social worker. I could have been a TA. I could have worked for a youth group. There are so many other avenues that I could have used if shaping children to be the best versions of themselves for the future was my why. But it wasn't my why. I didn't have a why. I just wanted to be a teacher. So because the vision was all there was, that was all I could focus on, and it kept me stuck. And doing the work with Catherine yesterday just made me realise something that I'm going to add into this talk, because this is a talk that I want to be able to give again and again. It's like a keynote speech, I suppose, the talk that I do. And I want to create a couple of them, but this one I think is really important. And this just proves that we're always learning, because I came to the realisation that the vision was there, and the reason I kept it for so long was my unconscious mind. And if you haven't done any work on unconscious mind, oh my goodness, the unconscious mind wants to keep you safe. And I had consciously fed my mind that I wanted to be a teacher and that I was going to be a teacher and this was going to be my life. Now, my childhood from the age of 7 got pretty turbulent in a number of ways. So my vision kept me focused. So lots of children at school would have completely fallen through the cracks there, stopped doing their work, been messing up their grades, failing in their classes because of all of the trauma they were dealing with at home. It happens a lot, and it's completely understandable. It's not even that these children are deliberately doing it. Some are acting out because they want the attention that they're not getting at home. Others are just struggling to cope with what's going at home, so they just can't function properly to do their schoolwork. But for me, I had this vision, and it kept me going, regardless of whether my parents were supporting me, regardless of what they were doing. I wanted to be a teacher. I needed to get these grades. I was going to do the work. And it kept me focused. And I think after the traumatic event that happened when I was 16, where I left school and was in the worst period of my life, I held on to that vision and hope that that could still come true and that I could still get there. And it was that hope and that vision that kept me going, and it just kept me safe throughout my life. So almost like I feel I owed it not only to 7-year-old Donna, but to the vision to make it happen. So some really interesting stuff came up, like absolutely bonkers. If any of this has resonated, or if you've got any questions at all, drop them in the comments. Happy to answer. If there is anything that you want me to do a bigger video on, I'm happy to do it. Just to say, absolutely no shade to my parents, because I love my parents, and they both went through a heck of a lot, and there was a lot, you know, at the end of the day, we're all very self-centered, and I don't mean that like you're selfish, but our worlds do revolve around us, and you know, somebody else's perspective of life is going to be completely different to ours, because we're seeing it from our world viewpoint, they're seeing it from theirs. So we're all just generally just doing the best that we can with the information that we've got and the way that we're interpreting that information. And so, you know, they did the best that they could in the situations they were in, with how they perceived those situations and processed those thoughts and feelings. So, you know, absolutely no shade to my parents. Love them both. And, you know, I'm a parent myself, so I know how hard it is to try and mold and shape this little life over here whilst trying to keep your own life together. It's not easy at all. And I've definitely not done the best job of that I feel like I could have. So yeah, it was a very heavy day. There was a lot of stuff, and you know, I didn't make notes much throughout the day. I just kind of spoke. So I'm hoping that Catherine will be able to give me some notes on it, because I feel like there is stuff that I need to digest, and hopefully the subconscious mind is doing it anyway, but consciously I'm a very pragmatic, that's probably not the right word, I'm a very logical person. I'm very sort of conscious, and I like to think things through. I like to analyse things. I've been told that I overanalyse quite a lot, but I like to do that, you know, it's the historian in me. So yeah, there's a lot to process there. We are meeting tomorrow for a couple of hours to finish off the session. And yeah, it was just really interesting. So given that it is Mental Health Awareness Week when this is going up, I wanted to just say that to me, your mental health and well-being is critical to your enjoyment of life. And what I said to Catherine yesterday was that I have tried my best over the last couple of years to create a healthy environment for my body to enable my mind to be its fittest in the most natural way possible. So looking at my diet, making sure that I'm getting variety, exercising regularly, drinking my water, cutting back on my caffeine, all of these things that I have done to create an environment inside my body that allows my mind to breathe. So it's not trying to fix broken things within my body because I'm not eating the right things or I'm not exercising. It's not stressing my mind as much as it was so that it can be as healthy as possible. But then there are the other things. There are the mindset things that you need to address and deal with. And you may think, oh, I'm fine. I thought I was fine for a long, long time. Like, these things that happened in my past, they don't affect me. I've forgiven. I don't forget. I can't forget. But I've forgiven. I've moved on. It doesn't affect me anymore. And actually, because of the subconscious part of you that is always trying to keep you safe, a lot of the times those things aren't as dealt with as you think. And the only way to deal with it is to do the work. So whether that's working with somebody like Catherine, doing a breakthrough day, whether that's getting a regular therapist that you talk to on a weekly basis, whether that is going to the doctors and getting medication to help you in the interim with balancing hormones that might need to always be balanced by medication, whatever it is, do what is best for you and your body, and explore a little bit, because I think sometimes we think we're doing the best that we can, but we've shut our minds off to the possibilities of some of these other avenues that might be able to help us. I know that people have a lot of pushback to therapy. A lot of people have pushback to things that seem a little woo. They have pushback over going to the doctors and getting medication. I think a lot of that comes from preconceived ideas of how others are going to judge you for that. I would say, 1, it's none of their business. 2, you don't have to tell them. 3, if they're judging you for it, it says more about them than it does about you. So I want to send you all a big hug this week, especially if you are struggling with anything. Please take care of yourselves. If this has brought up anything, I will try and have some links down below of places that you could go to get help. They're not necessarily things that I've used or things that I endorse. I just want there to be some sort of help there, because I know that a lot of this can be pretty triggering for all people. So please do your own research. A quick Google can often lead you down the right path and give you access to help. And yeah, hopefully we'll be back next week with something a little bit more exciting and light-hearted. So thank you so much for watching. If you have watched right to the end, please do consider hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already. Please hit the thumbs up button. It makes a massive difference to my tiny little channel, and I'm really grateful for it. So thank you. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.